The information is not complicated. This is not, about meditation. It's not about meditation. It's not about how smart you are. It's not about if you're good at concentration. It's not a test of faith. It's like gravity. Everybody is equally adept at gravity. And it doesn't matter if you understand gravity or not. Your attitude or your understanding of gravity has no effect on the gravity in your room.
Right.
Everything stays on the ground. The babies don't float out the window. So when you're manifesting, it's as simple as this. Your thoughts, as soon as you think of something, it starts to take form in the field around you. It's a law. There's nothing to learn about the law, but it's nice to know how it works or what it is so you can use it. So because we understand gravity to a pretty good degree, we can use it and as a tool. And we're going to do the same thing with manifesting. But everybody's equally gifted at manifesting, and we've already been doing it since birth.
Wow.
Since birth. So we're just going to discuss something you've already been doing. Yeah. So just relax, and we're going to discuss what you've already been doing. How simple is that?
Fantastic. Now, you say you didn't plan to do the book, but I'm assuming as you had your good friend, for example, Judy, and you said she can see the future. So maybe she saw that this was part of your future. So I'm going to ask you, do you think it was a project that came about as a result of the things that were happening in your life or those around you then? And obviously it was just coming to fruition.
I think we all have a little bit of destiny. Imagine there's the proverbial pie chart, and that slice of destiny, you're going to meet certain people, you're going to come in with certain proclivities, you're going to have certain issues, this thing, that thing. I think I'll just make up a number, maybe that's a 25%, 30% of your life. It's written. It's going to go down that way. That doesn't mean it's going to have a result, but you're going to have these things come into your life, and you get to deal with them one way or the other. I think it was destined for me to write this book when I was ready. And looking back, I've sort of been trained to be in the room with people that speak and lecture and write books and learn the etiquette and good behavior in public. And, the do be, don't be sort of stuff. And how to be more open-minded and try to be thoughtful and, just compassionate. Just try to be more of a world citizen when you put something like this out there. And be the steward of something and not try to be the master of it or the big shot of it. So, again, I'm simply someone with a very important message. And I think it was destined for me to do it. And that doesn't make me a big shot. I'm a regular guy with regular skills, just as plain as could be. Going back, when I was given this important information, I didn't recognize it for what it is. So I've sort of been trained up on the importance of this. And again, it's so very simple. It's sometimes terribly difficult to get across. But I just said it. Your thoughts take form as you think it. We're going to go from there. And it's going to change your life. Your thoughts have already been doing that, but now let's make the change that you desire.
Fantastic. So can I ask you then, again, bearing in mind that you did not plan to write your book, especially as in the form that it has come out, when did you get the idea for writing the book and obviously giving it the name Manifesting 1, 2, 3?
Well, the name Manifesting 1, 2, 3, you don't need number 3, just popped into my head. It was like a download. I'm accustomed to, on occasion, getting information out of the blue. And it's not my thinking, it's not my syntax, it's not my language, it's not my speak. And I look at that and go, where did that come from? But it's a pretty good idea, so I write it down. So what was happening is I was sending these things to Judy over and over and over, and not doing anything but just making a game out of it. And Judy, again, was very patient because I sincerely believe that down the road she knew this book would come into form.
Wow.
And somebody in the world was going to do it. I guess I wouldn't say it fell to me, but I'm the guy that wrote the book, and I don't know if this information is in the literature elsewhere. But there's so much information on manifesting, and people tell me, it's confusing to them, but it's incredibly simple. And I wrote it in very, very, very simple terms. In fact, I dictated the book.
Oh wow!
It's in my language.
I read it, and it was so easy to read. People out there, you must go and get this book. It was so easy to read. It was fun. It was interesting. It made me laugh, like I said earlier. So it was a pleasure to read as well as informative,
Oh, thank you. Well, the joke was sort of on me because I was doing this stuff and didn't know what I was doing. That's what we're all doing. We're doing this, and very few of us know what we're doing. And there's hardly anyone on the planet that actually knows what they're doing unless they have this information. So, as you said earlier, it is an incredibly important book. It is basic to every library. And people read this book in a day or two, or they get the audio and listen to it on the way to work, and they get it quickly. By the way, the website where you can get the book in all its forms is www.manifesting123.com. Manifesting123.com. So Fantastic. What happened after I saw The Secret? I turned it off, and I thought to myself, holy cow, these people are the experts in this, and I get what they're saying, and I certainly appreciate and support everything they're saying from whatever angle they're coming to on this, but they don't know how this stuff works. They just flat don't know how it works. They're making assumptions, good assumptions. They're all on the right track. They're all in the room with this, but no one ever told them that light switch is connected to the power plant. We don't have to go up there and wish and hope and petition the light switch and watch what we say around it and behave. If you hit the switch, it comes on because it's connected to the power plant. No assumptions. It's connected to the power plant. And when you start to think of something, I have learned firsthand that it takes form immediately. And if you keep repeating that thought, if it's a good one or a so-called bad one, it will begin to form in the field around you, and it'll come into your physical world. And that's how everything in this world that was made by man or woman happened, unless it was an accident.
Wow.
So anything that's constructed, you look at the London skyline, that was smoke first. That thought looked like a vapor, a puff of smoke first. So the whole London skyline was thought first, and the thought created form that first looks like just a little wisp of smoke if you could see it on the other side.
So can I ask you, what makes this book different? What makes it so that people will engage more and really start to understand how to manifest for themselves?
Well, we've been making assumptions about manifesting. If you make wish lists and you stay on it, then you increase your chances of the things on that wish list coming true. Now, the difference in my experience is when my friend William Buhlman, who goes out of body a number of times a week, had a more profound experience, an experience that changed everything for him and changed it for me, and we're wrapping this around the world now.
Wow.
It's the same thing for Judy Goodman.
Yeah.
So I was talking with William one day. Well, he was doing, I think he was doing a lecture in Boulder. And he had this offhand comment. We went to lunch. We talked about that some more. And I asked him again to repeat what he said. No, it wasn't a lecture at Boulder. We were having a private conversation. That lecture in Boulder was about another book that he did.
Right.
That's a whole other story. But in our conversation, I'm sorry to get off track on that, but I want to be correct and accurate on this. In this private conversation, he said that sometimes when he goes the other side, he sees items on his wish list arrayed, just lined up over there. Wow. So what do you mean? I'm trying to make the connection. You write something on your wish list, and you go to the other side, and you see it over there? He said, yeah. He said, well, what do you mean? How do you see it? He says, if I have something on my wish list, and it's only been there for a week or so, it appears over there as a wisp of vapor. It looks like a little puff of smoke. Now, on the other side, you have knowings about the things you see. your consciousness have greater capacity. So he can look at that little formless wisp, and he'll know that is this vacation he wants to take on a beach somewhere. But you can't see it's a beach. It's a construct. It doesn't look like anything. Now, he's been working on something else. Perhaps it would be a car. And that's been on his wish list for a couple of months.
Right.
Couple of weeks, couple of months. It hardly matters, but it's been on the wish list longer. When he sees that over there in that array, that car has a little more form. It has the rough shape of a car. That vapor has congealed a bit more, and it has a little bit of color on it, just a blush of color. Now, if there's something else he's been working on, let's say it's a roof for the house, and he's been on that for some time, he can clearly see this form of his house, and he can clearly tell that there's a new roof on it, because he's had that on his wish list for a much longer period of time. And every day he's looking at that wish list. He might touch it. He could put a candle on it. He could recite it. All he's doing is referring back to that wish list and putting another layer of intention every day about the items on the wish list. So as he layers those intentions, they're taking form on the other side. And I don't think I quoted him exactly in the book because I softened the language a little bit, but my eyes are really big, and I'm looking at this guy who I totally trust. If he says it's so, it's so. And he said, if I write it on a piece of paper and touch it every day in some form, on occasion I go to the other side, and I can see everything on that piece of paper starting to take form on the other side. And he said, I'd be an idiot not to do this. Let me underline that. I'd be an idiot not to do this. I'm thinking about that, and I'm going, am I an idiot? What is he talking about? I mean, is this... So you know what I did? I hung up the phone. I called Judy. She's my go-to girl.
Wow.
And she said, oh, yeah, your thoughts do that. And I went, son of a gun. So what did I do about it? Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
I did nothing with it because they're special people.
Oh, my goodness.
Right? Yeah. You shake the prime minister's hand, and then you go home, and you never give it a second thought that, I could be a prime minister. He has 10 fingers just like I do.
Exactly.
We do that.
Ken, we have to take a break here, but I have to ask you this before we go to break. So what you're saying is sometimes people, they want to have things happen in their life, and there are times when there's chances that they have had and they might sort of miss them because maybe they're a bit frightened or they're not sure how to go about making their dreams a reality, and they sort of just keep putting things off and letting things go, and so that's what you're saying. It just becomes something. I don't know. It's I don't know. Sometimes they will decide eventually that they want to do something, sort of thing, and it's interesting. I mean, before we go to break, please, I just want to ask you one more question before we go to break, because you've said this already, and I want to ask it just for the listeners out there to know: can anyone do this? Is it difficult?
You're already doing it. And when you come back, I want you to think about this during the break. You are a genie. You are not like a genie. You are a genie. And anything you think immediately starts to happen. So think about that on the break. And then we're going to put this to work.
Oh, yes, people. You are listening to the Ask-Avani Show. Yes, now what Ken Elliott is saying, he's our special guest today. We know you want to hear this. We know you need to hear this today. We are about to take a short break. Now, this song going into break is very apt. Dare to Dream. We will be right back on the other side after this. Hi, this is Avani. You're listening to the Ask-Avani Show, and we'll be right back after this. Good afternoon and welcome Welcome back. You are tuned into the Ask-Avani Show here on sometro-radio. This afternoon, we have a very special guest in the studios. Oh, yes, today's show topic is, do you believe in the laws of attraction? Is positive mental attitude just a cliche?